Hello everyone, thank you for joining on this Ichimoku webinar today. Alright, so today it's the 22nd of May 2020 on Friday. So happy Friday everyone. So as the title says, today I will introduce Kei's trading strategy. And this is a new PDF that's available to download for free. So you can actually come to the link below on the description and you can download it for free. And I will talk about what it says about this PDF and also how I usually take trades based on this strategy called KTS. Before it was called Ichimoku Trend Checklist, but now I changed the name to KTS, Kei's Trading Strategy, because this is more towards the trading strategy side, right? This is not only to capture the trend, but also I will talk about how to put buys or sells and how to put stop loss, where to put the exit timing. Things like that, and I will introduce some of my tools that I personally use, and exactly I will teach you how I actually usually take trades. So if you like this topic already, please press the good button, right? And if you haven't, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notified as I do these lives every day based on this KTS. Alright, so again, if you are not really downloaded yet, the link is on the below description, and also you will see the link on the chat box too, as this is live recorded. So you can click on either links and you can just download this PDF for free. And what I'm having on this one here is actually on the PowerPoint format, but what you're gonna have is actually on the PDF. So after clicking the link, what's gonna happen is it will forward you to my website, which is actually this one, and just click on this download button and you can have this PDF already for free. Alright, so wow, I just noticed that there is only 40 downloads, right? that's very nice actually. That's very nice to see the number, because you know, I just turned on this live stream right now, and I already see 40 downloads. So maybe, when I announced this live stream like a while ago, somebody already, looked at the description and downloaded this PDF already. But yeah, and because this is live recorded, I will just introduce what's actually written on this one, the purpose, and also how I usually take trades, things like that. I will just skim all these informations today, and if I will come back to your comments later on. Then that will be like a Q&A session, right, later on, something related to this Kei's trading strategy. Okay, so here we go. Let me just start this little lecture about KTS and how you can actually take advantage of this PDF. Okay, so yeah, so just a disclaimer, all this information is basically based on my own experience. So when you take trades, please do with your risk, right? So the objective, right? The objective of this PDF, or the Kei's trading strategy, is actually to capture a trend by the lines of Ichimoku Kinko Hyo, Senko span A, B, and Kijun Sen. So yeah, so basically there are 5 objectives, and this is one of them. So you're here to be able to capture the trend, and this is very important. This is very important. I will tell you the reason why it's important to capture the stable trend. But you can do so by looking at Ichimoku Kinko Hyo, and especially Senko span A, B, and Kijun Sen. And of course you can take Tenkan-sen and Chikou span too. But mainly what I usually do is I take Senko span A, B angle, and also the Kijun Sen, right? And also the Kumo itself, right? How it's forming, sloping up and downwards or horizontal. I look at the Kumo visually and see if the trend is stable or not, which I talked about, right, on this on my previous lives. So my future lives will be, based on this PDF. So whenever you're not really sure of what I'm talking about in my future lives, you can just come back to this PDF and you will find the reason why I'm saying that. and I will point out exactly which part I'm referring to by using this PDF so that you know exactly what I'm talking about, so that where we will be on the same page. And that's the idea of creating this PDF. So one, right? So capture a trend by the lines of Ichimoku Kinko Hyo, Senko span AB, and Kijun Sen is one theme here. And a second one is to identify a stable trend in two different time frames. So here's the key, in two different time frames. So usually what I do is I am a trend follower. So usually when I take trades, I look at the trend, I capture the trend, and I write on the trend, because that's the most time efficient way to take trades, in my opinion. And that's another objective here. So, when I try to confirm the stable trend, I usually look at two different time frames. So I am a multiple time frame analysis. I do multiple time frame analysis and take trades. So yeah, to capture a stable trend, right, I look at two different time frames, like daily chart and 1 hour chart, or 4 hour and 1 hour, or 4 hour 30-minute chart. Like the combination can be any time frames, but I usually look at two different time frames to capture and confirm the trend, and start to look at the exact entry timings, which is actually the third objective on this PDF. Right, so after I confirm, capture and confirm the trend in two different time frames, what I will be doing is actually I will start to look for and capture the trading edges by looking at smaller time frames. So usually I take trades based on 5-minute chart or 15-minute chart. But when it comes to write on the trend, I usually write on the trend based on a 1 hour or 4 hour chart or a daily chart. Or sometimes I take weekly chart to write on that trend. But when it comes to taking trades, I usually take 5-minute chart or 15-minute chart, so that my risk to reward ratio can be naturally greater. Okay, and so I will introduce you exactly what kind of tools I'm using and what kind of indicators I'm using to capture these trading edges. So, and the fourth objective, right, the next objective on this PDF or the KTS is going to be to identify when to move the stop loss to break even, right? And this is a very important concept too. When to move a stop loss to break even, right? So every time I take trades, first of all, I take stop loss. I put the stop loss for sure, because it's like a seatbelt, and because especially like these days under the age of coronavirus, right? Anything can happen in the market, and the market spikes up and down due to some news. So in that sense, I always make sure to put the stop loss at some point, right? Whenever I buy or sell, I make sure to put the stop loss every time I take trades. And when the time comes, I move that stop loss to break even. So when I'm buying it, when I buy, let's say, like when I buy here, then I move, the initial stop loss will be here, slightly low, and I move the stop loss to break even at some point, right? Slightly above the buy position, so that even if the price comes backwards this way, I won't lose money. So that's the idea of break even, and this is very important concept of my trade strategy. And this is something that I will be showing you too in my future lives based on this PDF. And this PDF actually explains about how actually I move the stop loss to break even too. Okay, so that's the fourth thing that's important, right? So I always take trades in a way that it's going to be either break even or win game. So usually I don't want to play lose or win game. I don't really play lose or win game, but most likely I will take trades where I can be break even or win game, right? So that when the time comes, right, when the breakout happens, I run profit the most. So that's the fourth thing. And also the fifth part, the last objective on this KTS is to identify exit timing and take profit timing before and after placing break even. So the strategy, right, of when exactly to exit before and after placing the break even will be different, should be different. So I will show you exactly how it's different in my trading strategy, and I will show it to you on this PDF. Okay, so let me start with this question here. Why trend analysis is important anyways, right? So I usually write on a trend in bigger time frame, but why it's important? And I pointed out like a couple of things. Maybe, right, this is the first version of KTS, and in the second version, maybe I will, add more like reasons, right? But this is, just a couple of reasons that I think of right now. So trend analysis is important, right, to be time efficient, right, to be time efficient, because when you write on the trend, most likely the price will go up or down stably, right? And in that way, right, you can be time efficient. But when you take trades in the range, the price can go up and down, and sometimes you can make money, sometimes you lose money, sometimes break even. And also, let's say you place a buy right now, and after you come back to the chart, after like 2 or 3 or 4 hours later, the price is not really going anywhere, right? That's usually happens when the market is in the range. And to me, it's not really time efficient, right? So to be time efficient, we have to write on the trend, and that's one reason why trend analysis is important. And also to make market volatility run profit, right? So usually, right, like as Roberto Kiyosaki says, if you read the book, right, he says, let the money work for you, right? Let the money work for you. But in tradings, right, in stock trading or cryptocurrency trading or Forex trading, we have to let the volatility work for you, right? You're not the one who's working, right? But the volatility is the one who's working and making money, right? Bringing money to you to run profit. So to go along with the volatility of the market and to get along with this volatility in the market, trend analysis is very important. And I will talk about that in my future lives too. Right, and the third point is going to be to have better risk to reward ratio. So like I said before, I usually take trades in smaller time frames, but I write on the trend in bigger time frames. And that's the ultimate way to actually have better risk to reward ratio, in my opinion. Because the market is fractal, right? Market is fractal, whichever time frames you look at, the market goes up and down. But when you see the bigger time frame is like uptrend, right? Even if in 5 minutes goes up and down, it should be moving upwards as a whole in a 5-minute chart. So, and by taking the smaller time frames while writing on the bigger time frame, your risk to reward ratio can be greater naturally. And that's another important reason why trend analysis is important. And the next point is to be confident on entries, right? So confidence is another key to success in the Forex trading or stock trading in the long run, because we sometimes lose confidence, right? When we like lose over time, or when we get losses over time, we lose confidence, and we don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen myself either, never, right? And I was struggling when I was a newbie. I was struggling and try to look for the buy chance, sell chance, right? I was only chasing for the signals to buy and sell without looking at the trend in bigger time frames, right? I was constantly like looking at like 5-minute chart only, or like a 15-minute chart only, and try to capture the waves and range and trend lines to take trades. But I wasn't really confident, right, at that time, because what I was looking for was only the buy chance or sell chance. Where to buy, where to sell was my question when I was a newbie. And in that way, you cannot be confident on trading, because you are playing the win or lose game. So if you keep playing the win or lose game, you cannot be confident, because the chance will be 50-50 basically. But if you ride on the trend, right, basically the price will go towards that direction, right, towards that direction. So that's why, right, by taking trades when there's a trend in the market, right, you can run over time, run profit over time, and also you can build confidence in yourself. So even if you lose over time, right, with small pips of losses, one big profit can actually cover up all these losses without trying to win back. And that's the point, to be really confident in the market based on my own experience as a pro trader for the last 7 years. So, and I think this is important, and that's why I put this sentence here. And also the next one is to know how far the trend will extend. And this is also very important. So I will teach you exactly when I exit. And exit timing is more important than entry, is my opinion. And that's more difficult. Exit timing is more difficult than entry timing. Because that's where really the greed comes, right? We want to extend the profit as much as possible, but it's not really ideal, and it's not really like realistic to actually, you know, capture all the pips all the way from the bottom to the very top, right? It's almost impossible. So but if you can at least know how far the trend will extend and when exactly it stops, right, in that case you can start to look for the exit timing or take profit timings. So, and to capture that, the trend analysis is also important. Okay, and finally, to go with the flow, right? To go with the major flow. So we don't want to go against the wind, but we want to, you know, follow the wind, right? Follow the stream of the river, just like as this picture shows here, right? We want to follow the stream of the river. We don't want to go against, because if you try to go against it, we need more power, right? But if we can kind of ride on the trend, ride on the flow, then without any powers to use, you can basically, you know, go towards the profit, and it will take you to the ultimate goal. And that's the idea of the trend follow, and that's why I think trend analysis is very important. Okay, so, and yeah, let me just keep talking first, right? But in the meantime, when you have any questions, you can type it on the chat box, or if you're watching this archive, right, you can always leave comments below, and I will make sure to read all the comments, and I will put the like buttons on those comments on the archives. Okay, so that was the little introduction. So here it comes a little bit more practical side information. So this is the steps that I usually take when I start to look at the chart, right? So every time I wake up in the morning, this is what I do, and every time I come back to the chart in a London session or New York session, this is what I usually do. So this is my routine, right? So I don't really look at 5-minute chart and take trades only. No, I always make sure to look at the bigger time frame first, and then go to middle time frame and a smaller time frame to take trades. So this is a very important steps. We don't want to go backwards. We want to see the whole picture first, and then, you know, narrow it down, right? Zoom in. We don't want to, like, you know, we don't want to focus on like these small parts and get the bigger picture, right? In that way, you get biased. You get biased on those smaller pieces. So make sure to get the bigger picture first, and then, you know, try to analyze the market, or, you know, where all these pieces are actually fit into these places. So what I usually do is first when I wake up in the morning and turn on the PC and look at the chart, I usually look at the daily chart or 4-hour chart and see if the market is on either direction, in daily or 4. So I identify the market in the major trend. So daily chart, 4-hour chart is a major trend for me, because I am a day to swing trader. So, and I want to ride on the trend based on daily or 4. But actually this is up to your trader style. If you're more towards like a swing trader, you can take a monthly and weekly chart, monthly or weekly chart, right, to capture the big trend. and take daily chart and 4-hour chart to confirm the trend and execute trades by like smaller time frames. That's okay too. Or if you are more towards the intraday trader, you can just take like 1 hour or 30, right, and to get the major trend to write on those time frame trends and take trades, right, by looking at smaller time frames. That's okay too. But the point is that look at these 3 different time frames, or 2 or 3 different time frames to identify a trend and execute the trade. And this is the essence of this KTS. Okay, so I look at the daily or 4-hour chart in myself, and if I see the trend, if I confirm the trend, then I look at the 1 hour or 30-minute chart, smaller time frames, 1 hour or 30-minute chart, and if I can confirm the trend in those 1 hour or 30-minute chart, then that's finally exactly when I move down to even smaller time frames in 15 or 5-minute chart. Okay, and then if I run profit, or if I don't run profit, if the market goes backwards after I take positions, then I will think about the exit timing, which I also introduced on this PDF. Alright, so yeah, so like to me, right, the bigger time frame major trend as daily or 4-hour chart, and the middle time frame confirmation on 1 hour or 30, and small time frame entry timing on 15 or 5. So it's impossible to see all the chart, all the time frames to be on the same direction. It's impossible. So we can take either, right? We can take either daily or 4, right? Like it says here, we can take daily either daily or 4. And for the mid time frame, you can take either 1 hour or 30. And for a smaller time frame for entry timing, you can look at either 15 or 5. Right? So, and step by step, you can gradually, see the bigger picture, and also if the market is on the trend or not, you can able to capture that. All right, and here is more practical part, right? So I will introduce you how I usually capture a trend, right? So I will be talking about these strategies, right? Briefly, I will introduce these strategies here. So here we go. So this is the step I usually take whenever I try to capture a trend. So I look at the Kumo. First, I look at the Ichimoku Kumo cloud, and I look at the angle of the Kumo, and also the length of the Kumo and thickness of the Kumo. And if the angle is moving up, Kumo itself is moving up, and the length is long enough, and if the Kumo is thick enough, then I move on to the next question. But if I miss any of like these 3 parts on Kumo, I will just hold until Kumo will be moving up or down. But if I can confirm these 3 points, then I will move down to the next question, and I will take a look at the Senko span B, whether it's moving up or down. And sometimes Senko span B goes flat, right? And in that case, I look at the Senko span A, and whether it's also moving up or moving down. So if the Kumo is moving up, then Senko span B should be moving up, and Senko span A should be moving up, right? If the Kumo is moving down, it's vice versa. And if I confirm the Senko span B and or Senko span A angle, then I move down to Kijun Sen and see if Kijun Sen is all pointing upwards too. So yeah, if I say all this information, it might be a little bit confusing. So probably it's better to look at the charts. So let me just briefly introduce one of the charts. So let me just pick up a good example somewhere. So I will try to see which market is actually on the trend right now. So I think this is a good one. All right, so here we go. All right, so this is a USD CAD 1 hour chart, right? USD CAD 1 hour chart. And when you look at the Kumo right now, ever since the Kumo has been twisted, it's going up, right? The Kumo itself is gone up, right? So the length is okay, the angle is okay, it's moving up. Sometimes Kumo goes flat like here, but right now it's going up, right? Kumo itself is going up visually. So this is a good confirmation to take, for the trend, uptrend, right? And so if I see the length and the angle and also the thickness, right? Sometimes Kumo can be very thin like this part. And in this case, it's overheated market, basically. So we don't want really to jump into the market because there might be some, retracement, like a quite big retracement can be possible. And that's why Kumo should be, thick enough for the market to be stable up or downtrend. So right now Kumo is gaining its thickness, right? It's getting thicker and thicker here. So the Kumo is thick enough, right? So actually it meets these three questions. The angle is okay, the length is okay, and the thickness of the Kumo is okay, right? The angle is okay, it's upwards, and the length is okay, it's long enough, and the thickness is thick enough. Okay, and then we move on to the next question. So we look at Senko span B and Senko span A. Okay, so when the Kumo is moving up, this is a little information that you have to remember if you're new to Ichimoku Kinko Hyo. But when Kumo is moving up, Senko span B is the lower part and Senko span A is the upper part, right? And when Kumo is moving down, Senko span B is the higher part, upper part, and Senko span A is the lower part. And when Kumo twists, that's exactly when they cross. In this case, they gold cross, and it became bullish Kumo. Okay, so when Kumo is moving up, we look at the Senko span B and also Senko span A. So in this case, Senko span B, right, is currently flat, right? Senko span B is currently flat. So coming back to that flow chart, right? Senko span B is not down, right? Senko span B is flat. So in this case, we better look at Senko span A, right? If Senko span B is moving up, then we can just go down to Kijun Sen to look at. But when Senko span B is flat, then we have to look at Senko span A and make sure Senko span A is moving up, right? So let's take a look at the Senko span A. And right now, as you can see, it's moving up, right? The Senko span A is moving up right now. So that's when we can confirm this one. And we can move on to the next question, which is the Kijun Sen. If Kijun Sen is also moving up or not. If it's flat, then the market is consolidating. So it's not a great timing to entry or great timing to, look down the lower time frames. So let's see if the Kijun Sen is moving up. Okay, so in my chart, Kijun Sen is a green one. And as you can see, this is moving up, right? The Kijun Sen is moving up. So we see Kumo itself is moving up. Senko span B is flat, but Senko span A is up. And Kijun Sen is up too. So this is the uptrend. This is the definition of the uptrend based on these three lines. Okay, and like I said, we can still look at Tenkan Sen and Chikou span as supportive lines, right? So in this case, looks like the market has been supported by the Tenkan Sen, right? So most likely when the price comes back to Tenkan Sen, right, we can expect that it will bounce off on the Tenkan Sen and it keeps going upwards this way. That will be, one of the supportive information. And also Chikou span, right? The gap between Chikou span and candle is pretty wide right now. Right, the gap in between candlestick and Chikou span is pretty wide, and this is another confirmation for its stable uptrend. But I didn't include this information in this Ichimoku trend checklist because it might be a little bit confusing to everyone, right? So here I just wanted to try to be as simple as possible. So I just took this Senko span B and A and Kijun Sen angles because these are already enough. Basically, when they're moving up, you see Kijun, you see Tenkan Sen is also moving up, and Chikou span, between Chikou span and candle usually have wider gap in between. So yeah, but if you're studying Ichimoku Kinko Hyo, right, you can focus on this Tenkan-sen Chikou span to exactly capture this market momentum too. Okay, so this was 1 hour chart, so it was not 4 hour chart or daily chart. So in this case, we cannot really, confirm the upper time frames trend, because when you look at the 4 hour chart, right, the Kumo looks very different. Now the Kumo is flat, right? Senko span B is flat and Senko span A is retracing, and currently it's flat, right? And the Kijun sen's moving down, but because Kumo is flat, we better not take 4 hour chart to confirm the trend. And also in daily chart, right, also Kumo is flat currently, right? Senko span B is, and Senko span B and A are moving flat, and the Chikou, sorry, not the Chikou span, Kijun sen, right? Kijun sen is also flat too. The green Kijun sen is also flat too. So basically this is flat. Market is consolidating here. It's in the P wave and the market is consolidating. So this is not a trend, right? This is not the trend. So we are here to capture the trend based on this KTS. So we can't take daily chart nor 4 hour chart, right, for its trend. So, but let's say we confirm the trend on either daily or 4. Then we move down to either 1 or 30, and we do the same thing. Basically, we do the same thing. We look at the Kumo angle, length and thickness, and look at Senko span B angle, A angle, and also the Kijun sen angle too, to confirm the trend in bigger time frame. Okay. So yeah, for those for those who are just joined this live stream today, I am introducing this new KTS right now. So the PDF is actually available from the link below or on the chat box. So you can just click on that link and you can come to this page and click on this download button, right? So let me just keep talking first, and then whenever you have any questions, please type the comment right on the chat box so that I can review it later, right? Later on this KTS introductory session. Okay, so but like you see here on this market, we don't always confirm the trend in daily or 4, right? Sometimes daily chart flat, right? 4 hour chart flat, right? In that case, what should we do, right? Do we have to wait until, right, Kumo or Kijun sen, Kumo and Kijun sen are moving up or down in one daily chart or 4 hour chart? Do we have to do that? My answer is actually no. Basically, we don't have to keep waiting, right, forever for these 3 lines to move up or down in those bigger time frames. So, and that's what it says on the next slide on page 9. So let's say you confirm a trend on 1 hour 30, but not on daily or 4. In that case, what would you do, right? And to make the long story short, you can take 1 hour chart, right? In that case, you can just take 1 hour chart to ride on the trend, right? To ride on the trend. So this example shows CHF-JPY 4 hour chart and 1 hour chart. And in this chart example below, in 4 hour chart, it was flat, the Kumo was flat, and the Kijun sen was sloping up, but Kumo itself was flat. So there was no trend in the market. But you saw 1 hour chart was moving down, right? Senko span B was moving horizontal, but Senko span A was slightly moving down, and Kijun sen was also moving downwards. So sometimes we see 1 hour chart or 30-minute chart is downtrend, while the upper time frames like daily chart or 4 hour chart are flat. So, and just like we saw on this chart example on this USD CAD right now, daily chart flat, 4 hour chart flat, but we see the trend in 1 hour chart. In this case, I would personally take 1 hour chart to to look for the trading edges by looking at the smaller time frames. Okay, but in this case, just to make sure that we are riding on the 1 hour time frame trend. Okay, we are riding on this 1 hour time frame trend. So whenever you see the trend stops on this 1 hour chart, we have to start to look for the exit timing. And that's very important, right? Because we're not really looking at 4 hour chart or daily chart. We're taking trades and we are riding the wave on 1 hour chart. So take profit should be also by 1 hour chart, not with 4 hour or daily chart. And I will show you exactly how I capture the exit timing too. Okay, so that's like 2 variations, right? So in the next slide, page 10 introduces my tools and lines and indicators that I usually use to capture exactly trading edges. So on these strategies or tools, I will talk about them on my future lives too. Whenever I take trades, I will address, I will pick up, any of these, indicators or lines, or tools, and I will let you know exactly which one I took to buy or sell at that time. So sometimes, right, I take wave analysis and Chikou span breakout, and sometimes I see like a thrust up and trend line, right, support line moving up, and then gold crossover happening on the stochastics and take buy. So I don't usually take one of these strategies to buy. I combine 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 confirmations to buy, and so that my winning rate can be increased and more. But I do these by smaller time frames, 15 or 5. I do this by 15 or 5 minute chart. So remember that we can't take one single confirmation to take buy or sell, right? It should be multiple confirmations. So so here's a list, right? So sometimes we see Bollinger Band squeeze, right? Bollinger Band squeezing and the market charging its energy in this 15 or 5. But if uptrend, if the bigger time frames uptrend, then the breakout should be happening towards the upside in smaller time frames too. So squeeze, when the Bollinger Band squeezing, that's exactly when we can look for the buying edges at that time. And also we can take a Chikou span breakout right after the Bollinger Band squeeze, and after Chikou span breakout we can take buy at that level. Alright, and you can draw trend line and take trades too, as well as a squeeze and also Chikou span breakout, right? So this is where the strategy comes, right? And this is where the sense comes here. So, but I will talk about this in my future lives. I don't really talk about all these indicators and how I take trades on these on today's live, because it's going to be for the next couple of hours, so I won't do that today. But every time I take trades or every time I see any chances in my future lives, I will bring this slide and I will exactly tell you which one I will take to take trades, buy or sell at that time. So you can look forward to those lectures in the future too. Alright, so this is the tools and indicators to identify trading edges by smaller time frames. Okay, so here is the stop loss strategy. So let's say after placing buy or sell, where to put the stop loss is another commonly asked questions. So in this slide, I briefly explained how I usually put the stop loss, right? So if I were to place a sell on these red marks here, right, these red bars, right, on these lines where it says SL is a stop loss level. So usually I put the stop loss slightly above the recent high when I take in sell, and when I take in buys, I put the stop loss slightly below the recent low, and the risk per trade should be less than 2% of your whole capital, whole balance account. And I will talk about that in my future lives too. And also break-even strategy too, right? So when to move the stop loss to break-even is another great an important technique to master. So we cannot really move stop loss to break even anytime, or we cannot do that, because sometimes if you keep doing that, then you just, every time the position price hits the stop loss, I mean the break even line every time, and you cannot run profit, right? So there is a precise timing in terms of when exactly to move the stop loss to break even, and I will talk about that in my future lives too by looking at this slide. So, and also exit timings too. I created 2 slides for exit timing, and one is exit timing before placing it break even. So sometimes, or oftentimes, or sometimes price comes backwards, comes against you, right after you take buy or sell, and it happens to me too. It happens to me, and it happens to anybody. But so we have to have like 2 kind of strategies in terms of exit timing. So one is exit timing before placing the break even, and it explains here. So whenever I exit before placing the break even, I will put this slide on this screen, and I will explain how I exit that, right? How I exit those positions before placing the break even line, and also the exit timing after running some profit, right? So after running some profit, where to take profit is going to be another great question to ask. So like I said, right, we ride on the trend in bigger time frame. So let's say in this chart right now, this is moving up, right? Again, Kumo's moving up, and Kijun Sen's moving up too. So as long as they are pointing upwards, this is uptrend, so there is no reason to take profit. So let's say when you place a buy here, and when you still run profit right now, there is no reason to take profit yet. But when we can start to look at the exit timing after running some profit is exactly when we start to see the market consolidating on this time frame that we confirm the trend. Okay, so let's say when you confirm the trend in one hour chart, like in this chart example, in that case, you have to start thinking about taking profit timing when Kijun Sen goes flat, and when Senko Span A start to go flat too, and also Senko Span B goes flat too. That's when exactly you want to think about when to take profit. So I usually don't put the target based on the price level. I don't do that usually, because I'm not really sure exactly up until which price level the price will extend. Sometimes it keeps going up, right, breaking the recent high upwards, and it keeps going upwards too. So as long as you see the uptrend, there's no reason to take profit is my philosophy, and actually that's introduced on this KTS here. And I will also talk about this whenever I run some profit in my future lives too, so that you can see me taking exactly these trading strategies with some real chart examples. Alright. And finally, a little bit of the announcement for you. But yeah, so if you would like to learn more about KTS, there are two ways that you can do, right? One is for self-study, right? I do these lives every day, almost every day, and if I can't do the live for my personal reasons, then I will upload a video instead, so that you can also enjoy that video on that day. So I created a playlist of KTS on my YouTube channel, so you can come to this playlist, right? Basically, you can just click on this one. This is actually became a hyperlink on the PDF, so you can click on this one and you can come to the KTS, and you will see all my future lives on that playlist, so you can fully understand what I'm saying based on which pages I'm referring to, right? So that's one way. And also you can just basically join my daily live streaming too, right? Just join my daily live streaming, and I will talk about the market, and I will talk about the trend, right? Based on this KTS. Or you can, if you are more curious and if you want to improve, and if you are looking for some private training, right? I offer my hands-on training too, and there is what I call global trading school now. Yeah, I call it GTS, right? GTS is now launched now, and there will be a new GTS coming this July to September. So I uploaded a video yesterday. So this is another way, because in this global trading school, I teach KTS, right? Exactly how you can take trades with my own strategies, and also you will learn about money management strategy and also mental management strategy too. So yeah, if you click on this link here, join global trading school, it will forward you to this page here, to this page, and you will see exactly what you can expect on this global trading school. So I just did some interview here, so the videos will be uploaded. This is one of them, so you can enjoy my interview with the students, and you will see all these contents here, what you can expect on this GTS here. So, but if you're not really for this GTS, then you can still keep learning by looking at and watching and joining my future lives too. So either way, how it works, right? It's okay for me. All right, and finally, I put my couple of links about myself, right? I put the official website, my profile, and my services and YouTube channels. I have second channel for my private talk. Sometimes recently I do the live stream on this second channel too. So sometimes I introduce my gadgets and devices, or I talk about my hobby, I talk about my Shiba dog vice, or I talk about any sort of topics on this second channel. So so in this official channel, right, in this official channel I only talk about Forex related things, but on this second channel it's going to be some other topics, so you can always enjoy that. And finally, I put the contact link here so that you can easily contact me anytime if you have any questions or any comments on this KTS strategy. Alright, so let's see. Thank you for listening all the time, right? Whole time for about how many minutes am I speaking? Like about 50 minutes of talking. Thank you for being patient and listening to my words. So I hope you enjoy this KTS strategy that's newly created, and this is version 1. So I will create the second version as time goes on. But I think this is good enough for now to introduce my strategies too, to ride on the trend. All right, so let's start the second part, right? Because this is live stream, let me start to look at some of the comments, and I will start to say hi and pick up some comments and questions that you might have right now. So hold on. All right, wow, there are so many people. Thank you for joining, everyone. As always, thank you for joining. And if you like this today's live, please press a good button so that it keeps me going. All right, and please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you keep learning about this KTS in my future lives too. All right, so Donnie, thank you for joining. Arcadi Fabio, Michael, Derek, S. Johan, thanks for joining. All right, good to see you. All right, Taizo. All right, thanks for joining. Michael, Munarura, thanks for joining. All right, Roy, Panchika, thanks for joining as well. All right, Rafael, Lawrence, Masiej, thanks for joining. David, Skills, good to see you. Good to see everyone. Very nice to see you. All right, Dada, Nico, Talal, Aturusitaram, thanks for joining. Good to see you. All right. All right, Steve, Yen, Jagadesh, Philip, thanks for joining as well. Deropia 1964, Grace, good to see you. Talal, okay, because I've been waiting. Sure, Talal. Thanks for your words. All right. Yeah, that's great to hear. And it's always nice to see everybody here in this in this YouTube live stream. It's always nice. All right. Sorry, the panel in front of me is a little bit too bright, so let me just turn this to the chart. All right, Zeropia, thanks for joining Stay Gold. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much. Sure, you're welcome. You're welcome. This is my pleasure doing this, so you're welcome. All right, 1964, Keiichi Guru. All right, Kei Ichimoku Guru, right? Keiichi Guru is like a new word. That's interesting. All right, Grace. All right, already 56 downloads. Wow. Okay. So yeah, just feel free to download, and you can share this with your friends too. If they are still struggling to capture trend, you can feel free to copy and share this PDF with your friends too. Yeah. Oh, I mean, you can share the link, right? Please share the link. You know, right? Like formally, I don't want you to share the PDF itself. It's okay. But if you can share the link or this video to somebody who is still struggling to take trades, that would be greater. All right, Restless, Robert, good to see you. Alejandro, Glenn, Grace, Tanapol, Karine, thanks for joining. Good to see you, everyone. So nice to see you. All right. Yeah, Dada, I saw your email, so I will reply to you. Yeah. All right. Brigitta, Damian, Brian, Mr. Fernandez, Dewa. Good to see you, everyone. Sergio, Kelv. All right. So let's see, right? Let's see if we see any comments and questions about this KTS. Hold on. Yeah, I can just keep say hi to everybody, but yeah, it might be taking a little bit more time. So I do appreciate your support and participation here. So everybody stay gold, right? Thank you for your participation here. Guys, smash the like button. Nearly 100 people on live and 26 like. All right, sure. Thank you for your reminder, Adam. Okay. Good to see you. All right. How to know how far the trend is? So that's how you can capture the trend by looking at the bigger time frame. So you can actually, how far the trend is going to be identified by how long the price is going to go and how long these 3 lines are going to go upwards in this case. Whenever they start to be horizontal, that's basically when the trend stops. And that's usually when I start to look for take profit timing. So you say this is almost impossible to pick bottom and right to the top almost. Do you know something what we don't know? Oh, yeah. So yeah, usually say, right, if we look back the chart, right, we sometimes regret, like if I were able to buy at this point and exit all the way to top, right, that would be nice, right? Sometimes we dream about that, but actually that's not realistic. Because always there is a risk to place a buy here, or there is a risk to place a sell here if it goes downwards this way, right? You have to confirm the beginning of the trend and also the end of the trend. And to be able to confirm these signals or setups, we have to wait for some time until there is a decent confirmations to come. So sometimes for me, right, it happens to trade like this here buy, and I keep holding this one all the way. Sometimes I do take trades like that, but I don't really expect the market to go all the way up to here when I'm taking buy. Most likely, if I take buy here by looking at some kind of confirmation, I also expect the price will keep going downwards too. I always expect like that too. So most likely in this case, if I were to take a buy here, I only take like a 1% risk, or sometimes like less than 1% risk to take a buy here, because this might be continuous reverse N wave, and it might continue downwards will be the view here. But as a result, it went upwards this way. But we cannot really capture the very bottom or very top of the market, and it's almost impossible, and it's not realistic. So usually in Japan we say don't eat the head and tail, but just eat the body part, because that's where the juice is, right? That's where the most delicious part. So yeah, in Japan we say like this. Let's say the trend is like a fish itself, and so there is a tail like this, and there is a body part, and there is a head like this, right? So let's say this is a fish swimming upside, right? And so don't eat the head part and don't eat the tail part, but just eat the body part, and that will be enough in trading. Because when you try to capture the trend, or when you try to place buy or sell on these tails and heads, right, the risk is going to be greater. And yeah, but every time you take trades, like I said on this KTS, every time you take trades, the risk to reward ratio should be greater, right? I usually take trades where the risk is 1 to reward to be more than 5, 1 to 5 or more. And by using this indicator, right, by using Ichimoku Kinko Hyo to capture a trend, it becomes possible. And by looking at multiple time frames and taking trades, right, it becomes possible. So yeah, so that's the idea here, and that's the idea of what I want to say in this KTS. So yeah, and that's my philosophy too, and that's what Goichi Hosoda says too. Alright, good to see you everyone, good to see you. So nice to see your work evolving and this community thriving. Sure. Andre, thanks for your words. Yep. It's so nice to see everyone. Very nice to see you. Can we say there is some lines of Ichimoku more important? For example, Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen is more important than Senko span AB. There is no more important or less important in Ichimoku 5 lines. All these 5 lines are important. So yeah, in that sense, it's the matter of how you can be able to combine, right? How you can combine these 5 lines to take trades. Yeah, and that's why I didn't really go for these 5 lines to capture trend on this KTS, right? Because yeah, it might be a little bit confusing, and also to capture a trend, Ichimoku Kinko Hyo's Kumo, Senko span AB, and Kijun Sen will be just enough. Yeah. Oh, this is MT5. This is MT5. Alright. Alright, nice to see everyone. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Very nice to see you. So you download the PDF already? Alright. Please say yes who download the PDF so that I know who's got the PDF here. And just make sure everybody gets a PDF so that you know, we can do the lives and we can learn. You can learn from my future lives for sure. Alright. Hi Easton. Oh, you're from Yokohama. Alright. Yeah, we're close. I sometimes go to Yokohama. Yeah. Can we use this for short intraday trades? Yeah. So you can apply this one in smaller time frames too, Talao. That's possible. Yep. Alright, so any questions, comments about this KTS? Do you have any questions so far? So far so good, everyone? Is it clear enough? So as I keep doing more lives and more lives in future, you might have more questions. So yeah, you can always join on this my future lives on this YouTube, and you can learn from my analysis every day. All right. All right, good to see you, everyone. Good to see you. All right. Fantastic work, Kei. Sure. You're welcome. You're welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure. All right. All right. So there's one question. If you see strong trend on a daily chart, you still enter with 15 or 5 chart, or 4 hour, 1 hour, and so on. Yeah. So if I see a strong trend on a daily chart, then I confirm it with the 1 hour chart, and I take trades with 15 or 5. Yeah, so always I look at the bigger time frames and break it down to smaller time frames, and take trades with 15 or 5 minute charts. Alright. GTP-US is spiking up, alright? Alright. GBP seems to be quite volatile today. Let me check out the currency strength chart. Oh, by the way, currency strength chart is also available for download free. There is a PDF for this currency strength chart if you don't know. So you can come to this my website and click on the free download, and you see the currency strength chart. And I create a PDF in terms of how you can actually use this currency strength chart, which I usually do every day. So you can enjoy that download, the PDF, and also the video too. Yeah, but I can see that JPY is quite strong today. JPY has been quite strong today. And GBP is catching up, but JPY is the strongest one, and then USD comes next, and CHF is the third strongest one. Yeah, today AUD seems to be very weak, so AUD JPY is the most volatile market. Yeah, so I will talk about this in my future lives too. But yeah, it's quite interesting market today. Do Ichimoku include reversal price action? Yeah, it does. It does. All right. During the training, do we go more in depth in entry and exit? Yes, of course. Yes, of course. I will go deeper and deeper based on this KTS, and that's why I created this PDF. Yeah, actually this was created based on the request for one of my listeners, right? Every time I take trades or every time I explain about the market, at some point, right, I got some voices that we need some kind of like a checklist, and that's why originally I created the Ichimoku checklist, and now I convert it and upgrade it to what I call KTS now. So yeah, and I will talk about these strategies, right, whenever I take buy or sell in my future lives. All right. All right, good to see you, everyone. Good to see you. All right. Okay, so yes. Okay, I see so many yeses. All right, that's great. That's great to hear that. Okay, so looks like everybody's got the PDF already. That's great. So yeah, because this is on PDF format, I think you should be able to download it and open it on the mobile too. So I think that's a good thing about PDF too. All right, looks like yeah, lots and lots of people, traders are getting this KTS. That's great. In this video, is recorded and it's going to be uploaded under this on this page too. Not this one, sorry. On this KTS page, right, I will put this current video here so that you can always replay on what I was saying about this PDF. So you can expect that too. Alright. Alright, good to see you. Good to see you and good to hear that. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Alright. Alright. Please tell me how can I set the profit target point with the Ichimoku. Yeah, that's exactly what I'll be talking about in my future lives. Yeah, based on this KTS. Yeah, I will talk about that. All right. Can you do a live demo of how to enter trade, how you place the stop loss? Whenever I see any trading edges in the market while I'm doing the live, I think I do. I will just place a buy or sell, right? Just a performance, and I will see exactly how I look at the market and see the market. Or I run the Forex Tester 4 in the future lives, so that you can actually learn from the way I take trades too. So either way it works, I will do that. But I don't offer the copy trade, so just make sure, right? Just don't follow me blindly. Please try to understand the story behind on what I'm saying here. And I will do that. Yeah. All right. What's the advantage of trading in the lower time frame and not the bigger time frame? The advantage to take trades on lower time frames is that the stop loss can be as tight as possible. Because let's say if you look at the market right now on this one, let's say in a 1 hour chart, this is uptrend, right? In a 1 hour chart on this USD CAD, currently it's uptrend. So I can look at the smaller time frames here, like a 15 or 5, and try to capture the potential buying edges. So right now I see wicks pointing downwards, right, in this part, and this is going to be one of the confirmations to buy, right? Wicks pointing downwards, and that means there is a strong support here in this zone. Let me zoom in here. Hold on. So yeah, this is the 15-minute chart, and if I take a buy, let's say right now, and my stop loss is going to be slightly below the recent low, which is going to be either here or here. In this case, I want to take the stop loss here because this is a more significant low in this case, while it's uptrend in 1 hour chart, right? So if I measure the pips in between from here to here, the potential stop loss in this case is going to be 35 pips of stop loss, which is too wide for me. I usually take trades where the stop loss can be less than 20 or 25 pips. So to me, this is too wide. So it's either I just wait until the price will be coming closer and closer to the stop loss and take a buy in a cheaper price, or I decrease the lot sizing to make it 2% on my whole capital account. So, right, but what I was saying that the by looking at this 15-minute chart, the recent lows here, so the stop loss can be very tight, right? Like a 35 pips here. But if I take like a, let's say 1 hour chart, and in that case my recent low is going to be here, and yeah, in this case, right, it's like the same, I guess. Hold on. So it's going to be, yeah, this was the same low as we saw on the 15-minute chart. So in this case, we can take either 15 or 5 to look for the stop loss places. But usually when I look at the bigger time frames, the stop loss can be very wide, and that's why I want to take smaller time frames to confirm the buying edges and also the exact entry timings, and so that my stop loss can be very tight too. But the target should be based on the 1 hour trend in this case. Alright. Yeah, BG, you can see all the information about GTS here. If you come to services and click on this GTS here, you will see all the details here. Do you trade full-time or average? How many trades you have in a week? How many % your monthly average gain? Yeah, so I am a full-time trader, so trading is the main source of income for me right now, and I manage my own money only. I never manage someone's money, and I never being in the fund or any security firms. I am a individual pro trader, so in full-time. So, and this is my main source of income. So how many trades I take depends on the market. Right now the market is flat ranging, so I don't really actively trace. But my monthly average gain is between 10% to 20% per month. Alright, I'm not really sure about the vortex indicator. And yeah, so speaking of the indicator or candlestick, right? I prefer the candlestick than Heikin Ashi because I get so many questions from so many traders about this. So how do you think about Heikin Ashi or Renko Ashi, right? How do you think about it? And my opinion is I don't use Heikin Ashi. And this topic is something that I already spoken on my past lives, but I don't really use Heikin Ashi because in Heikin Ashi we cannot really capture the recent high or recent low, right? But candlestick, right, there are wicks pointing up and downwards like this, and we exactly know where the potential, I mean the very high, where the highest high is and where the lowest low is. We know that by looking at these wicks. And Ichimoku Kinko Hyo is actually looking at the highest price and the lowest price for the past certain period of time. So that's why I want to capture exactly where the highest highs and also where the lowest low is in the market. So in that sense, I prefer candlesticks more than Heikin Ashi. And also Goichi Hosoda, right? The original inventor of Ichimoku, Goichi Hosoda, did not know about Heikin Ashi, but he actually talked about the relationship between Ichimoku Kinko Hyo and candlestick patterns, right? In this original book of Ichimoku Kinko Hyo, he was actually talking about the candlestick patterns, and he was a fan of candlestick patterns too, what we call Sakata Goho in Japanese. So that's why I prefer the candlesticks more than Heikin Ashi. Just for your information, because this is one of the frequently asked questions too. Alright, so thank you for joining everyone. Good to see you. So today I am introducing what I have, the KTS, which is available on download on the link below or on the comment box here. Alright, do you take a trade if the bigger time frame give a significant buy or a sell signal and lower time frame defer to the bigger time frame? So yeah, I only look at the bigger time frames only to capture a trend. So my trend capturing strategy and my entry strategy is different, right? So to capture a trend, I look at Kumo and Senko Span B, Senko Span A, and Kijun Sen. But when it comes to taking trades, And when it comes to spotting the right entry timing, I use these tools. So yeah, the tools that I use for trend and the tools that I use for the entry timing is different. All right. Thank you for the knowledge. You're welcome. You're welcome. How can we use the currency indicator? Oh, you mean the currency strength chart on this one? Yeah, so if you come to my website and if you can click on this free download and currency strength chart, there is a PDF available for free also. And you can see my video here that explains about how you can use this currency strength chart. So yeah, just feel free to come to this page and yeah, just download the PDF and also learn from this video here. PDF contains less pages with more information. Really loved it. Sure, S. Johan. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Yep. All right. So, and yeah, if you would like to master this KTS along with the money management and also the mental management strategies, you are always welcome to this GTS, Global Trading School, which is coming from July to September 2020. And yeah, actually the seats are only limited up to 5 members, and already 3 seats are already filled. So we've got 2 more seats, but don't worry, there will be October to December course afterwards too. So but on this July to September, already 3 people actually confirmed to join this this session. So there are 2 seats left on this one. So, all right. So I guess I will end the live anytime soon. So make sure you get the PDF, right? Again, the link to the PDF is on the below description. Or you can see the link on the chat box here, on the right or on the raw part, wherever you see, right? There is the link that I posted just earlier. So you can click on either one of those links and come to the download page, and feel free to press the download button, which is this one. So yeah, wow, I've already got like 162 downloads. That's great. All right. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's live. So from tomorrow, right? Tomorrow I will start to talk about more about the market based on this KTS. So today was just an introduction, right? Today was just an introduction for this download to be available. So yeah, and I will keep talking about the market, and I will keep forecasting the market based on this KTS. So if you liked today's live, please press a good button, right? And make sure to subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't, so that you get notified as I keep doing these lives every day. And if not, I will upload a video instead. But either way, I will try to make you learn every day, possibly. All right. So everyone, thank you for joining again, and I will see you on the next live. Okay. So stay gold and bye for now. Mata ne. Thank you.